Welcome to the Realtor for Hoopers podcast.
When I pull up with my dogs, we gon' ball like Swish. No, I ball like. No, I ball like.
All right, today we have a very, very special episode of the Realtor for Hoopers interview series. It is the one and only Katie Kemp, who is my wife. So, baby, thank you for not only being an amazing wife, but also giving me the freedom to do these things and all of that. And this is long overdue. So thank you for coming on.
Me on the podcast is long overdue?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. If anything, it probably should have been the first episode because none of my Realtor for Hooper stuff happens without you.
Thank you.
So, and we are going to start off just like we start off everyone.
Okay.
Tell us your basketball story.
Wow. Well, I knew you were going to ask me this, and I was thinking about it. And basketball truly was my first love. Yeah.
For sure.
It really was. So in sixth grade, I was on the B team, and I was the worst player on the B team. I scored on the wrong basket. It was mortifying. And, but you know, I knew that I had some kind of potential and I liked it, even though I was not good and on the worst team. My dad gave me some amazing advice, and he said, the best players have good fundamentals, and you don't need to go on traveling tournament teams. You need to go. We had a full court basketball court, outdoor court in Wisconsin. Our driveway was full court. So he said, you just need to go out there and dribble back and forth, layup, end to end, layups back and forth all summer. And I did that along with Pete Maravich VCR sets. Yes. I don't know if you know about Pete Maravich. He had like a ball handling.
Pistol Pete, right? All the dribbles between your legs.
Yes, that's my party trick. Anyway, so did those and just like got into it. Yeah. The other cool thing about my family growing up, they remodeled this 100-year-old home and they dug out the 2-car garage to the basement. So we had the basketball hoop in our house. And so my sisters and I, shout out to Megan, Allison, and Bridget for all rebounding because we'd all do free throws forever down there. Yep. We'd have endless games of horse going, you know, the whole thing. And so I just was around it a lot. And so by the time 7th and 8th grade came, I kept improving. As a freshman, I was on varsity. And so I was at a very small school growing up and, you know, small town. And so it was still a big deal. You know, it was really fun. I was 6 feet tall. So for girls, I was a center. Yep. But I didn't love that position as much. I loved being kind of more of a 4 was my sweet spot. You know, I'd love to drive. I'd love to pass.
You have a little bit more freedom around the court to move and all that. Yep.
Yeah. I didn't want to just be the big that's like stood underneath. So, I just started to love it. I had some amazing coaches that kind of stoked my fire for it. And I used to go into my high school gym. I would go into school early at like 6:37 and I would just shoot. And I remember thinking I wanted to be known for being the hardest worker. You know, I just wanted to have a hard work ethic, but I also was so motivated because I loved it. Yep. I just loved it. And I also had a goal that I wanted to play in college and get a scholarship, which I ended up doing. So I played at Michigan Tech University for a year, but
Division II.
Yep. So in high school, though, so I played my freshman year, my sophomore year, was great. At the end of my sophomore year, I tore my ACL. So I had surgery, rehabbed, got back in 6 months, and I tore it again right away. that's when my parents took me to Dr. Shelbourne in Indianapolis. And so I had this procedure where it was kind of this new up and coming way of doing ACL surgery. So they took the patella tendon from the opposite knee, put it into the ACL as the graft. Yeah. So I was rehabbing both legs at the same time and always just kept working really hard and got back like with record timing and all of that. And so then played, I think, some my junior year and then my senior year, and ended up getting a scholarship then to Michigan Tech. Played my freshman year there. And then...
So the two ACLs were in high school?
In high school, back to back. Kind of like like the first one didn't like take kind of thing. And so I just did it all over again.
So then you went to Michigan Tech?
Yep. So then, went to Michigan Tech and played my freshman year. Was such an incredible experience. All of I just felt like part of the Michigan Tech family. Yeah. Those girls are forever just so dear to me. And after my freshman year, just during off-season scrimmage, I can remember the exact moment, and my ACL tore again. So for the third time. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I was not even going to give up after that. I was still thinking, I'm going to rehab this and I'm going to get back even after 3 ACL surgeries. But I think God had different plans, because after that surgery, I ended up with a staph infection, and it really took out my immune system, and basically everyone around me, as well as the doctors, were just saying, you need to be done. Yeah. So it was tricky. Tricky.
So I guess, how has it been? Well, first, how does it feel to have injuries kind of in your career when you love it so much?
Oh my gosh.
And
totally.
Kind of a second part of that is what is kind of been the process since then to find something that replaces it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, totally. Well, I think that loving something so much at such a young age, it becomes your identity. And I remember right after kind of being told, this is the end, just feeling like it was such a loss of identity. Yeah. And it was such a
young age.
It's such a young age. And even and I think all athletes honestly go through this, if you play at a college level and you don't have any plans to keep going, there is a grief to it, because there's just such a big transition. I think why I loved basketball so much is that it fulfilled so many areas of my personality. I'm naturally like a leader and an encourager. And so getting to be on a team and having a common goal and playing for something, it just filled so many buckets of, who I am as a person and the things I love. And so when that was taken away, gosh, like it was such a big shift to find. Even now when we watch March Madness, sitting on the couch, watching the girls play, and I am just like, there is part joy and just delight in seeing it, but like a little tinge of grief that's like, oh, I just miss it so much, and I get little things here and there with the boys and our kids and stuff, but it's not the same level. So it was definitely a shift of identity, and it was a shift in learning other things that I love, and
you're just I feel like, we've been married for 17 years now, and we'll get into that in just a second, but it feels like there's been, even since I've known you, there's a part of you that's always on a constant little search to find something that fulfills that.
Oh my gosh, totally. Because just that to love something that much, because it fills so many buckets or parts of you, it's been tricky to find
And
that.
when you're an athlete, when you're an athlete and you play a team sport, it comes so natural to you. I think that's almost like there's a born identity in that. And then when you don't have that team sport and all that, like it's hard to find something that comes as natural. Like, like you can find things that provide fulfillment and purpose and that you're good at. But like when you're an athlete, being on the field or being on the court just comes so natural. It's hard to find something that you're just like, yep, that's it. Right. But,
I would say the things now that, I love as much, obviously mothering, it feels like once I became a mom, that's been, so much of who I was created to be as well. Especially with the kind of complexities in our parenting journey with our kids, it just has it's been a unique story, I would say.
Yeah.
And has required a lot of me to put my full self in. And the discipline I learned in basketball definitely helped me to be the mom I am, for sure. I would say the thing now that I love the most is probably hosting, because I will put in as much effort
for sure
to creating an experience and having fun and creating something, for others to enjoy as much. Yeah.
I always joke around that if Katie Kemp could build a house in 3 days, if she knows that people are coming over. So
yeah. Yep. I just love it. I love creating experiences with people. So
sweet. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing your story. Now,
I have to tell you my most recent basketball story though.
Okay.
Because sometimes on Sundays we go to the rec center and we play pickup with anyone that's in the gym, including old men that haven't played in 50 years. Ages
range from 6 years old to 80. But,
and we play with our two boys who are 15 and 10, and it's just a good time. It's just like everybody gets to play, old and young. And I dislocated my finger. And it was very exciting. And this part went up. That's like a real sign of a basketball player is when your fingers get gnarly,
Yeah, it's fingers, your knuckles are all swollen and look weird and they all crack. And it's definitely a good sign.
So I'm grateful. So even though I am not going hardcore and I'm nothing like what you just did last night at your rec or your league.
Yep.
And all the amounts that you play, but I can get out there still and still.
You still have the skills. You're still a hooper.
Yeah,
you're still a hooper.
Maybe more trick shots. I don't know if you let me.
People love the Katie trick shots, so
it's fun. All
right. Well, let's get into that. So I'll let you.
Okay.
Tell our story of how we met.
Oh, okay.
And I'll try to keep my mouth shut.
Okay. Well,
because we're pretty consistent. I don't think we have very things that we fight on. But I'll let you start. I'll let you say it from your perspective.
My perspective. Well, what's relevant to the Realtor for Hoopers podcast is that the very first question I asked you, just seeing you walking past you at our apartment complex, you were dressed in your travel gear to get ready for a game, to travel, whatever. And I'm walking past you, and I asked you, the very first question I asked you is, do you play basketball?
Yeah.
Which is just the funniest thing, I think, for the wife of the Realtor for Hoopers.
Yes. It's almost, I can't think of the word, but it's like.
Too ironic.
Yeah, it's a little ironic, don't you think?
Yeah.
So. 90s reference. So.
Do you play basketball?
Yes, I do play basketball. Mm. That was a lot more smooth than I did it the first time.
Mm. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So how we met is, we lived in 2 different apartment buildings in our apartment complex, and I'm walking my dog around the building to let him out so he can be in the house for pretty much the whole day until we get back from the road trip. The one-night road trip. And So Katie walks by and asks, "Do you play basketball?" And I'm bending down, petting my dog. And I look up and, sunlight's behind her. There's it's the hallelujah, this 6-foot blonde girl is talking to me. And I'm literally processing, wow, she's pretty. Wait, she asked you a question. What was that question? Well, how should you respond? And it took so long that I'm sure you were like, this guy just doesn't want to talk.
No, I thought that you didn't want to talk to me. I thought you wanted nothing to do with me because you didn't even answer.
So she turns and just walks away. And as she's walking away, I get out. Yeah. So it wasn't my smoothest moment by any means.
No.
But over the next month or so, we would pass each other in the parking lot, and we continue to kind of happenstance see each other and all of that. And then one day I just got up enough courage to put a note on your car because I knew you drove the black Jeep with the Wisconsin license plates.
Yep.
And kind of the rest is history. And we had, and then we could really get into it if we want, but we were married 10 months later.
Yeah.
So
we did, for some of our first dates, though, we would play full court 1-on-1. And that was super fun because I got to foul you as much as possible. You just
that was the rule.
Yeah.
That was the handicap. There was no offensive or defensive fouls from Katie.
But I was still mad because you just always still won. But to be fair, in my husband journal, I had a journal to my husband before I met him.
Which I still own to this day.
Which had a list of my hopes and dreams for who he was. One of them is that you were better at basketball than me. So I just didn't know if I could respect a man as my husband if I could just whoop him on the court. You know what I mean? It was just I just wouldn't probably have as much respect for you, just in general.
I could see that.
Am I really PO'd that I've still never beat you at basketball? Yes, I am. I have a bitterness that's far and wide.
So I come from the cloth, even with our boys now, where I'm never going to let you beat me, whoever it is.
Yeah.
So my 10-year-old, my 15-year-old, whenever you beat me in basketball, you know that you earned it fair and square.
Yeah.
There's just not a part of me that's oh, sure, I'll let my girlfriend win because it'll make her feel. No, that's just not how I'm wired. And if that's an issue with you, then maybe we shouldn't be together. So that's
yeah, I don't know if it's repeating a pattern from my youth because one of the reasons why I became a good player, shout out to Will Sweeney, is because he's my older brother and he was always just more athletic than me and better at all the sports. And my goal was to play against him. And did I ever win? No. But I did school some of his friends though. So that's kind of cool.
It's always good. That's
the
small victories in life.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question is I guess how is it being married to the Realtor for Hoopers? So I want you to be open and honest as possible. I know that you provide me a lot of freedom, which I'm very thankful for, and autonomy just to go and let me do my thing. And that I'm very thankful for that because it just provides me so much energy and be the best version of myself. And as you've learned, if you put boxes around me, I'm going to plow through them, whether you like it or not, kind of thing. So I think you being able to be self-aware with that and understand that that's going to be best for not only our family, but our marriage. And and you have to reel me back in sometimes and all that. But I guess, how would you, in general, feel like it's being married to the Realtor for Hoopers?
So, first of all, you're really cute. So I like that part.
She really likes too this gray, all this gray coming in the beard, which bothers guys. But for I'm starting to take it as a badge of honor that my wife thinks it's cute, and I can still play on the level that I do with gray hair. So.
Totally. So you are just a born entrepreneur, and I can't imagine a world where I didn't support that in you, because your nature just needs that. And I love seeing how your creativity just keeps creating more creativity. Like, it just keeps growing and growing, and like the ripple effect. I think that for, being a hooper and you being a hooper, like having kind of a shared mindset in that we're going to do whatever it takes for our family to thrive, whatever that means on an emotional, spiritual, mental, level, health, all of it, that I don't have to doubt. I never doubt that you are going to do whatever it takes, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to kind of thrive and to get to that place of thriving. And I mean, that's, going through raising a daughter with special needs, health issues with my own stuff, with autoimmune stuff, just challenges with, being an entrepreneur, having the unknown always there with, how it looks and how it's going to go. But at the end of the day, what I appreciate you, about you so much is just that you are going to show up, and you're going to be a team player that puts in like every effort for the good of the team and the good of the whole. So it's like, we're not playing this tit for tat thing of like what you did, what I did, but it's almost like being on a team with you. We have that common goal of like, we're going to get after it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I was just about to say that is that when you're part of a basketball team, the best teams, when chemistry is created, is when you have an aligned goal. All of you are bought into your role, bought into, working hard and getting through the ups and downs. And when someone's down on the team, you pick them up, and all that. And I think we have we've set a really good culture in our family of, hey, life is just going to knock you down, but we're just going to continue to show up, and we're continuing to get better, and we're going to continue to whatever. And yeah, I would agree.
But I also want to say something, and this is not why you asked this question, of what is it like to be married to the Realtor Roofers? But if anyone knows you, they know that you live with an intensity and a passion for the things that you're about. And that just creates this ripple effect over and over and over again. My favorite word in any language is in Hebrew. It's tov. Yep. And it's the good that keeps bringing more good. And it's like this, growth that just has this ripple effect. And whoever you're like, your energy in the world, whoever you're around, you impact them because of being like unapologetically you and going after the things that you are called to. And it just is so inspiring on so many levels, not just business, but like the way that you do your health journey and keeping, just really making time for that and just, your character as a man. So, and then also you're just like a big kid and you just play, so many games of catch and so many trick shots in the house that, so there's that too.
Yeah. So I
all that other stuff, and you're just like this big kid that has
I'm very lucky that you allow me to be me for the most part.
Yeah.
Like even being the kid and doing what I call the adequately loving with our kids, where I basically just lay on top of them and bear hug them and just all that.
Obnoxious.
Yeah. Well, it just, I think you do a really good job of understanding, whether it's our kids or me, that, hey, there's things that maybe I don't understand that just allows them to be the best versions of themselves. And yeah, it may bother me a little bit more from time to time, but like it's just part of who they are. And so I think you do a good job with that with me. And because there is a lot of like, what is he doing? Or what are they?
No, this is what it is. One of our family values is playfulness and fun.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's so fun, even if it's at the expense of making fun of me and my dance moves or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, before I ask you the last question,
oh boy,
I want to acknowledge you from the first moment we met. You've brought the best out of me, and you've continued to not only to pull the best out of me as far as my character, but even once got to that place, you continue to pull the best out of me as far as allowing me to dream for my my goals and whatever what you can see that's possible for me. You allow me to go after those things and allow me to, so I would not even be close to all the things that you just acknowledged me for without you, because if I was where I was when we first met, that's a very different path and a very different version of Adam Kemp. And the ability for you to pull that out of me and pull the best out of me and pretty much everyone you come in contact with. That's why people just puke their life story on you every time you're at getting your hair cut or at the grocery store or whatever. Because you just
they don't puke on me.
Yeah, well, I know. Sorry, it's a wrong term. But they freely share more than they do with the average human, because you just set a tone of bringing the best out of people and what they need to do. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Last question is what is your favorite thing about basketball?
Wow. It's just so fun. My favorite part is being on a team and having a shared mission and goal, and win or lose, knowing that you worked your hardest and put everything into it. I just love that.
Yeah, I agree. I just felt that last night where it was just this unspoken bond, and it's just fun to just, even if you're having failures or whatever, it's just fun to have people around you that are all there doing it together.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, baby. Well, I love you. Thank you for coming on the pod. Yep. All right. Thank you, baby. I love you.
You're welcome.
When I pull up with my dogs, we gon' ball like Swish. No, I ball like. No, I ball like.